Hi, how you doing? This is the FinTech Magazine Show, brought to you by FinTech Magazine, InsurTech Magazine, and BizClik Media Group. My name is Scott Birch, and every 2 weeks we bring you the latest news, analysis, opinions, occasional live guest, bit of video content, all from the world of FinTech, with a smidge of InsurTech, right here on LinkedIn, YouTube, on all of our digital platforms. Joining me today is FinTech InsurTech editor Joanna England. Hi, Joe. How are you today?
Hi, Scott. I'm good today, thank you.
It's been a long week, hasn't it, Joe?
It has been a long week. I'm very happy it's Friday, actually.
Absolutely.
Very happy.
Everyone's always happy it's Friday.
Yeah.
And why don't you come and tell us how happy you are that it is Friday? And come and say hello by posting in our comments section, which you should find underneath the show. And also you can go and vote in our LinkedIn poll as well, as ever. Joe, what's the question that you asked this week?
Right. So this week we asked the question, should all banks and fintechs be entering the metaverse? And the options were yes, no, and then the final one was it's inevitable, which is a bit like a not so positive yes.
Oh, right. I see. That's where you read it. I read it as a more positive yes. So that open to interpretation. So it'll be interesting to see how people do vote. I'm not going to ask you now, Joe, what you think, because I know we will come back to that. And I believe that the metaverse is going to be a bit of a theme of today's show. We're going to be dipping in and out of meta-related topics. But we will be sharing the results of that poll towards the end of the show, but there's loads to talk about before then. And let's get started by taking a look at the latest fintech and insurtech news. All right, always my favorite part of the show when I hear the news sting coming along. So, Joe, why don't you kick us off with the latest fintech action, actually?
Sure, right. Well, the first story of the day and the main theme of today's show really is the one about fintechs and banks entering the metaverse. Now, you might remember that this trend kicked off a couple of months ago when JP Morgan staked its claim in Decentraland. And things have really moved on considerably since then. We've got, for example, HSBC in the sandbox. South Korea's Kookmin Bank is now offering augmented reality one-to-one customer service sessions. The UK fintech Sokin has opened up its own unique e-commerce portal. And we've also just heard that CaixaBank will be entering the metaverse by way of a platform called Imagiland. We've actually got a bit of footage of Sokin's new e-commerce portal, so we can just play that and give you a bit of a demo of it. So it's all really happening within the metaverse. But what I find really interesting in all this is that lots of industry experts have dismissed the idea of fintechs and banks entering the metaverse. And they've really done this for a couple of reasons. Now, the first primarily is that the metaverse is essentially a giant gaming platform, the biggest gaming platform there is. And it's there for entertainment purposes. And let's face it, sort of day-to-day banking issues aren't really very much fun. So you can already do all the banking you need to do via online banking apps. And I don't think anyone would consider that there is a pressing need to explore the delights of the metaverse for this reason alone. However, there is always the other side of the coin, and it's quite compelling, really, because there are some very valid points. The first of which being that the metaverse, straight off the bat, is a prime example of early stage opportunism for banks and fintechs. So, I mean, if we look at it this way, if companies had known just how successful the internet was going to be in the late 90s, most of them would have jumped on the bandwagon a whole lot sooner. So businesses, regardless of their speciality, have extreme FOMO when it comes to the metaverse. A big, big fear of missing out. And the next point really is branding opportunities. So we see a lot of fintechs and banks, gathering up football teams and sports team sponsorships because they want to spread awareness to a new demographic. And by entering the metaverse, these institutions are staying relevant and they're putting their stamp on worlds that show potential growth. So they are placing themselves at the heart of areas that do get a lot of virtual footfall. Now, the next aspect that is attractive to financial institutions is the fact that the metaverse offers a new dimension to customer servicing. Now, bricks and mortar banks are dying out because online banking services in general are so good. But many institutions, they want to still be able to offer what they consider to be face-to-face human services. And the metaverse offers, to an extent, that possibility. And then the last point really is that, one that we can't ignore, the metaverse is obviously a haven for digital currencies, because crypto is king in the land of the virtual. And many businesses in the metaverse are already trading with a number of different currencies. And of course, it makes sense to have banks and fintechs there on the platform because that's happening. And this trend looks set to continue. So there's lots to think about with that one. So, I mean, really, going back to one of those points, actually, Scott, just out of interest, when was the last time you went into a bricks and mortar bank?
Oh, Joe, now you're asking. Last time I honestly can't remember, because I can't remember the last time I would have had a need to go into a bricks and mortar bank, as you said, because so much can be done online or whatever virtually. You really very few reasons to go into a physical bank these days. But am I right in saying, Joe, that you are putting it on the record now by saying you believe that the metaverse is going to be bigger than the internet? Is that what you said?
Bigger than the internet? That's a question and a half, isn't it? I think it will be. Because it appeals to the younger generation, and if you've got like teenage kids like you have, Scott, and so have I, they become so immersed in it, and they love this kind of virtual platform gaming culture, and they all communicate over it. And so, yes, while it's not necessarily so relevant for people of our age, it's definitely going to be relevant for our children.
Yeah, I think you're probably right there. And like you said, so many huge brands and organizations are staking a claim in the metaverse right now as well. So it's clearly being taken incredibly seriously by people who are spending millions of dollars, pounds, euros, or whatever their currency of choice, Bitcoin even, to stake a claim. Definitely one we need to keep an eye on. And I know what you're saying. It does seem a little bit strange in a way, almost counterintuitive for banks to introduce that sort of element and almost like gamification of their services, because as you said, it's a serious business. But maybe it doesn't have to be, right? Maybe it can be more fun. It can still be a serious issue and topic, but maybe they can make it more engaging for the younger generation. Now we're sounding incredibly old, Joe, or I am at least. So I think it's probably time to move on. So why don't you give me a bit of InsurTech joy?
Okay, so the story I wanted to concentrate on for InsurTech was a thought leader piece that was written by Vinod Singh of Consirius. And he wrote about the transformation of legacy systems and what's really on offer to insurance companies that are essentially facing huge technological shifts and expenses at the moment as they're trying to digitally transform. So the main takeaway for me on this one is that there are three options open to companies. They can either build their own technology stacks, which comes at an absolutely heinous cost and also runs the risk of becoming swiftly outdated. The war on talent also makes this job additionally difficult. The second option is to collaborate with a technology partner in the ecosystem and basically create a way to outsource the digital side of their business through APIs. But Singh points to a third option that now more companies are turning to, which is a hybrid model, and it involves insurance companies specifically partnering with digital insurers to find a bespoke solution through the problem. So what they would do is they would essentially kind of look at their own individual problem, and they'd collaborate and they'd say, okay, we need to build some tech on this, and we'll do that together so that it suits the offerings that we're both proposing. And then, the digital insurer will say, okay, I'll take this part of the equation and I'll manage that. So I think it's a really interesting take on the very real challenges facing old school insurance companies.
Yeah, it is definitely an interesting take on it. And remember, you can catch all of the latest news, whether it's fintech that's your thing or InsurTech, you can catch that on our websites, which are happily running across the bottom of the screen now. So that's fintechmagazine.com and insurtechdigital.com. Now, as well as the latest news, you'll also find our latest issues of our digital publications and loads of video content, webinars, all kinds of engaging material. So go along, have a look. Before we move on, actually, Kieran, can we see a few people who are saying hello? Maybe we can get them up on screen just to show the width of our audience here. We've got people from all over the world. Hi, Esther, not sure where you're from. Somebody from Sarajevo, hello. We've got people from Egypt, people from Sweden, hello, and all over the world. Anyway, welcome to you all. Thank you for joining us today and saying hello. And we're taking this opportunity to say hello back as well. Now, still to come after the break, we're going to be taking a closer look at some of the great features from the April issue of FinTech Magazine. And we're also looking ahead to FinTech Live. And we've got a bit of an announcement about that as well. I've been promising an announcement for a few weeks, and today we have one. That's taking place in London later this year. And of course, you can join hybrid as well. So if you can't come from Sweden, for instance, who's joining us today, if you can't come from Sweden, hey, just come and join us virtually. So we'll be telling you more about that later on. But first, Joe, I think you've got a video interview that you did for us.
That's right. I did an interview with Franz Berner, who is the CGO and co-founder of Bizclik. And we talked about the significance of embedded insurance in the insurtech industry. Yep, so we've got a clip to show you. And you can also read the full interview on the Insurtech Digital News site very soon.
What's the significance of embedded insurance in the wider context of the insurance industry? And what products and partners is Bizclik working with?
Yeah. So when we're talking about embedded insurance, then on the one hand, we see the forecast, how this part of the industry sector will be growing. And there's a number out there which is talking about a $3 billion market in 2030. And when it comes to the industries, then we are partnering with B2C companies. These are typically retailers or e-commerce companies, telecommunication carriers or energy suppliers, and finance industries, so banks, fintechs. So all the people, they have the relationship to the customers. And on the other hand, we are enable insurance carriers to really develop digital products in a very fast time and a very efficient way.
So what kind of opportunities is that presenting in general insurance companies with? And are we going to see a massive shift in the way insurtech is developing because of embedded products?
Yeah. For the insurance carrier, on the one hand, it is the opportunity to gain to existing customer base of B2C companies they can partner with. And on the other hand, they have the possibility to get different, also small insurance products in a very cost-efficient, because digital way to the end consumers. And of course, depending with which partners they are working with. For example, Bizclik has also the capability not only to help developing the right insurance coverage or the right insurance products, and then distribute all the different products. But we have also the opportunity that we then also manage the full claims handling. So not only first notice of loss, but also the verification of the claims and also the payout. So this is the MGA modus we are able to work as. And therefore, of course, the insurance carrier only has to give the underwriting capacity, and all the other things are done then by the insurtech. So it's a nice way to outsource, if you want to call it like this, smaller insurance coverages, smaller products to a fully digital channel.
Okay, and as you said, Joe, that interview with Bizclik is going to be in the on the Insurtech Digital site very soon. And embedded products are clearly making waves in insurance and e-commerce industry right now. Now we're going to have some more content share with you after this short break. But first, let's see a couple of ads.
BizDigital is simply providing better digital access to our specialist insurance expertise. My name is James Wright. I'm Head of Technology for BizDigital. We've got 5 key objectives, and these are doing the basics really, really well, meeting our brokers where they want to be met, easy access to our specialists, using data to really drive our business, and continually striving for better. By ensuring our products and services are really going to be relevant and efficient in a more digital future. And to do that, we're really focused on developing our internal talent to have the right skills to change and optimize what we do, but leveraging their subject matter expertise in building that digital future. Our approach in working with our partners is that we like to have shared goals. We like to ensure that our cultures are quite closely aligned, and ensuring that we've got shared ways of working. So when we come to delivering our business outcomes, that's as efficient as it can be. So next for us is establishing our business, our credibility, by delivering on our business plan for this year, and to ensure that we continue to serve our clients this year and beyond.
Customers and employees are producing millions of signals critical to your business. How they feel, what they like, why this product and not that, where they're spending money, what could be better, or what would make them happier, spend more, and be more loyal. These signals are flooding into your organization in live time. Medallia captures all these signals and makes sense of them, so you can understand every experience along every journey. Our artificial intelligence analyzes all these signals to detect patterns, identify risk, and predict behavior, so you can fix problems before they happen and double down on opportunities to make experiences extraordinary. Because with Medallia, customers build the best products, employees build the best companies, and together, we build the best brands.
I was really enjoying that video, and then something struck me, right? The Medallia video. Oh, bless you. Did anyone else hear a dog? Was it just me? Yeah, the Medallia video. It looked to me as if the lady went up to buy her coffee, right? And it said rewards not found, and she left and she had a bad experience and just walked out. I don't think she paid for a coffee. I'm just saying, just putting it out there. I'll watch it again after this show. And apologies if I've got that all wrong, but it looked to me like someone walked out of a free coffee in disgust, not getting her free award. Anyway, welcome back. Still to come, we'll have some serious stuff to talk about. And we'll also have the results of our LinkedIn poll and more on that FinTech Live event that I mentioned as well. But first, we're going to take a look at the current issue of FinTech magazine. And I think we're going to look at lockdown lending. Lockdown, that seems a long time ago. Lockdown lending and post-pandemic payments. Nice bit of alliteration there, Joe. So over to you.
Yeah, I chose basically to talk about this feature because it focuses on new trends in the payment space that have occurred as a direct result of the pandemic. And these trends have completely changed the industry, and they're now here to stay. So it looks at changes in online lending, the explosion of the buy now, pay later space, a general increase in digital engagement, and so on. And for that article, we also had some excellent insights from Sudeep Mukherjee from Publicis Sapient, and also Ian Duffy, who is, of course, the CEO of Accelerated Payments.
Yeah, so that's a really good read, that one, Joe. I've had a good look at that one myself, and it is interesting, like you say, the way the FinServe industry has really, it's transformed, during and also after the pandemic as well. I mean, we've talked about it a lot, and we know that the digital transformation accelerated. I don't know how many times we've said that over the last 2 years. But yeah, FinServe is one industry where it's really transformed. And as we said, when's the last time you went into a bricks and mortar bank as well? Okay, so you can go and read all these features, by the way, that are in the magazine. As I said earlier, you just go to the website, you can read all of those there in our digital magazines. Now, Joe, we also have the current bi-monthly issue of InsurTech to take a look at as well. And you've highlighted one of the features from there.
That's right. I wanted to talk about the Covia insurance piece, which was written by BizClik's managing editor, Blaise Hope. And he interviewed Graham Howard, Covia's CITO, which is Chief Information Technology Officer, about the work Covia are doing in terms of creating microservice-based policy and how they're driving change in the insurance industry. Now, I think what's interesting about this one is that Covia operates as an advanced innovation lab. We're always hearing about innovation labs, but Covia takes this to a new level. And they have a unique test and learn approach to new technologies and innovations. And what they're doing is really driving change within the wider industry. So, I mean, do check that one out. I know we're going to be hearing more about them in the very near future.
You heard it here. If Joe says we're going to be hearing more about them, then that will happen. And we've got many, great interviews, profiles, and features in these issues. So make sure you visit the websites. You know where to go, where you can read the magazines and watch the video content as well. So let's move on and take a look at that poll that we mentioned at the top of the show. Joe, why don't you start by reminding people what the question was?
Yeah, the question was, should all banks be entering the metaverse? We've had around 560 votes on that. And 28% of voters said yes, 48% of voters said no, which I think is interesting. And 25% of voters said that they thought that banks entering the metaverse would be inevitable. So quite a divided poll there, really.
Yeah, absolutely.
But an interesting result.
Yeah, I was quite surprised as well. I suppose if you take those it's inevitables as being, well, yes, it's going to happen, but they don't like the fact, then would you add those results into the no's, and then that makes a completely different result, right? It's only, it's less than 3 people in 10 who actually feel positive about it, of yes, absolutely they should be going into the metaverse and doing this. And as you said, about 560 people voted in that poll, so thanks everyone for taking part. We do appreciate it. If anyone joining us today live has any comments about that poll, or if you voted in it, please just do post a comment, and maybe we can come back to you as well on that later on. Now, as I said earlier, we've been talking about FinTech Live returning for a few weeks now, and the dates for your diary for this hybrid event taking place in London are the 9th and 10th of November. Did you join us in 2021? If not, here's a taste of some of the action that you missed.
Good morning and welcome to the FinTech and InsurTech live show. Buy more stocks, pushes the price up. You sell more stocks of the same kind, pushes the price down.
We saw 5 years of growth in digital payments here in the UK.
Eventually the market does work things out if there's a reason to, right? And there was a collective need to have a standard in those industries.
It's phenomenal. You guys have a great vibe in the area.
I love the hybrid events. I think to be here in person is an absolute privilege.
It's great to get into a room with people because you get an energy.
There you go. It seems like a lifetime ago, but it's coming around again, as the song goes. And I'm pleased to announce that we now have our early bird tickets available on sale for FinTech Live. And as I said, we're returning to London in person, and also we are going to be broadcasting virtually to the world on 9th and 10th of November as well. Now, there are a limited number of these discounted early bird tickets available. So if you want to attend, you know where to go. And there you go, as if by magic, we've got it pulled up on there. If you want to find out where you can find out more information about the event, if you just go to our website, you know the websites by now, then you'll find our live event section, and it'll take you through to these pages as well. Okay, now, Joe, before we go, I think you've got a little bit of Friday fun for us.
I do. We do have one little additional activity to entertain you all. As we've taken a good in-depth look at the ultimate gaming platform, which is, of course, the metaverse, I thought it would be fun to test Scott's general knowledge on seriously old computer games from the 80s. So you're welcome to join in and see if you can guess them as well. So, Scott, Kieran is going to show you some clips with sound effects, because the sound effects are very important, of 3 iconic 80s games. You need to identify them, but you also get additional points in a BizClik mug if you're able to name the year each game was launched, which is a bit of a tough one.
Okay, look, I'm up for the challenge. I don't know if you're saying that because you said these games are really old, so that makes me even older. But yeah, I'm happy to play. Yeah, why not? If there's a BizClik mug going, then yeah, I'm all in. So yeah, shoot.
Okay. Any ideas?
You said these were easy. Do you know what? That sounds like, it didn't look like it, but it sounded to me like Boot Hill, which is an old arcade game that I played in the days before consoles. But clearly, it's not Boot Hill, right?
It's not Boot Hill. It was a good guess, though. And actually, to be fair, I was a bit sneaky with that one, because there was a slightly newer version of that I absolutely know you would have got. So I deliberately chose the very first version of it.
Okay, put me out of my misery, Joe. What was it?
It was the very first version of Gauntlet, which was available on the Atari.
Oh, well, I feel mildly embarrassed. Can we move on to the next one quickly?
Yep.
Well, that's the unmistakable, he says, hoping he's got it right. Was that Jet Set Willy?
Oh, so close. It was actually Manic Miner.
Oh, tragedy. I won't be able to show my face in BizClik again. Okay, yeah, Manic Miner. Gosh, I remember playing that on the ZX Spectrum, I think, and putting the old cassette into the machine and waiting for about half an hour, listening to machine code as it loaded up for 16K of gaming glory. But clearly that was Manic Miner, and I said Jet Set Willy, so that's another failure. Gosh. Okay, next, please.
Okay.
Right. Okay. I feel a bit more confident about this one, but I said that about the second one. Now, if I'm not mistaken, and if this isn't a trick question, that looked very much like Donkey Kong, and I think that was also I think that was also the first the screen debut of Mario, right? Who then also went on to star in his own Super Mario universe, I suppose. Okay. So I got 1 out of 3. Were there only 3 to guess today?
There were only 3. I just thought we'd ease you into this gently today. You know, it's Friday, and it's the first time we've put you on the spot for a while. So
yeah. Okay. Well, I feel like I failed. 1 out of 3, but hey, I enjoyed it anyway. And as you said, we were linking this to the metaverse and gaming, so a bit of Friday fun, and yeah, a bit more of that next time as well, please, Joe. Not this video game thing which is showing me up, but something different would be good. Thanks. Okay, now that's pretty much all we got time for this week. We hope you've enjoyed the show. I hope you did better than me on guessing those computer games for those of you of a certain vintage. And make sure you tune in again in 2 weeks' time. Thank you for interacting with us as well and saying hello. In fact, interacting, let me just go to the comments. Oh, do you know what? Look, Ryan Fox also said Jet Set Willie. Thank you, Ryan Fox. I hope that was in support of me getting it wrong there as well. I just want to read this comment out from Alexander Orlov, actually, because this is relating to the poll. Just reading this quickly. It says, I believe that all the major banks will be entering the metaverse. The process already started via B2B expansion into CAAS and evolving into BAAS. The metaverse will be bigger than the internet. There you go, Joe. Reflecting the comment that you made earlier, I won't read out the whole of that comment because it looks pretty extensive. But Alexander, thank you for taking the time to give us some feedback on our poll. So that's it. That is generally it. Thanks to Joanna for another great show. Thanks for showing me up with my gaming knowledge and taking me back to the dark days of the 1980s. To Kieran and the rest of the video production team for always pressing the right buttons and helping us produce the video content and, of course, these shows. And our marketing team doing all that work in the background as well. We'll see you again in 2 weeks. This has been a BizClik Media Group production. See you next time. Thanks, Joe. Bye.